we've kind of had a little chat about this, but we are here today to talk about how we jingle all the way to successful Christmas campaigns. My name's Bex. I'm Digital Transformation Manager here at Wagata Digital. And I run our web development team and our HubSpot team here as well. As I said, I've been in marketing for 20 years, so I've seen the evolution of Christmas campaigns, I think, over the years, and how people have changed from doing them very much in a traditional way, kind of print advertising, that kind of stuff, to how we can now do them much more engagingly digitally as well. But yeah, I've seen the good, the bad and the ugly. So that's kind of why I offered to jump on and host this one, because as I say, I'm all for Christmas. So, but it's not all about me. For those of you that don't know Wagata Digital and haven't joined our webinars before, we're actually a team of 26 marketing specialists based across here in St Albans, where me and Sophie are today, over in Cheltenham and also in London. We work with companies all over the world, though, to help them with their digital marketing. Core services are 360 digital marketing, employer branding, as I say, website development that I deal with, and also HubSpot. And just before I hand you over to Sophie to talk about this year's Christmas campaigns, I actually wanted to give you a little Christmas deal from us. If any of you are working with HubSpot at the minute, we are HubSpot Platinum partners. And between now and Christmas, anybody that needs a little bit of a refresh and a bit more insight into how they're using their HubSpot, we're offering some free, we're calling them spot checks, but they are just free audits in HubSpot so that you can get a bit more insight into how you're using the platform. If anyone's interested in finding out a bit more about that, we're sending over the deck afterwards. So there's a QR code on there, but do feel free to reach out to me or Sophie afterwards as well, and we can see how we can help you out there. So that's all from me. I think for now, I'm going to hand you over to Sophie, who's our Sales and Marketing Manager, to talk about how we can enhance your seasonal campaigns. Thanks, Soph.
Brilliant, thanks Bex, and welcome everyone. I'm really excited to be here today to talk you through how to jingle all the way to successful Christmas campaigns. So I'm Sophie Skilton. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager here at Wagata Digital. I've worked at Wagata for the past 2.5 years or so, supporting a variety of companies with their marketing as well as at Christmas time. But I now have the pleasure of running Wagata's marketing, which is super fun and absolutely brilliant. So today, what we're going to cover is really delving into understand your target audiences and thinking about how best to reach them at Christmas time. Think about how to drive engagement with messaging that is going to resonate with Christmas. And we're also going to have a little look into Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So as we spoke about at the start, some of you might have already planned your Christmas campaigns, and you might be here today just to look at further tips, anything else that you can do. You might be thinking, you know what, it's all done. I'm going to think about actually, whilst the campaign's continuing, actually, how could I improve it for 2025? Or you might think, I haven't even started yet. Where do I start? What do I do? And actually, it's not too late to start your Christmas campaigns. We are still September. We can do a small Christmas campaign and get you guys out there. And hopefully today, these tips will support you with that. As we go through today, feel free to pop in any questions in the chat. We're going to have a Q&A at the end, so we'll run through that. We'll try and get round to you all as well. So starting with understand your target audiences and how best to reach them. So what we find is when it comes to Christmas time, people go, or companies go, oh, I've got all these different target audiences to reach. And actually what is really important is actually remembering that at Christmas time, your target audiences who you reach during the year remain the same. What we've actually got to do is think about your normal target audiences and actually what they want and need during the festive season. So that's really important because Christmas campaigns are also about supporting your marketing during the year. And there's no point kind of going after other target audiences who actually are not necessarily the exact target audiences that meet your products or services. So let's really think about your target audiences that you already have, that you market to during the year, and think about what they actually value during the festive season. So for B2C target audiences, this could be that they want convenience. They want to be able to purchase something really easily. and thinking about actually how you're doing that to aid them. On the B2B side, it could be that they want some more personalised support during the time. It could be a really busy time for them. Or it could be that they're actually reviewing 2024 and they actually want a bit of advice and support with actually how they can improve things into 2025. And that's the support that you can provide during that time. So really think about actually your target audiences, have a think about previous years and actually what their pain points are. And that is kind of how you're going to resonate with them. You've also got to think about the device that your target audience are using. So what device are they using to view your website? So there's a great hack for this. You can have a look into your Google Analytics and actually see what device your users are typically using. On the whole, for B2C target audiences, it will mostly be mobile, stereotypically. B2B, there might be a little bit more of desktop because they'd be looking at you at work. But what's really important is making sure that if you've got majority of mobile users, if your website is optimized properly for mobile to help them whilst they're on the website and kind of move them through those stages. It's also really worth remembering that Christmas is a super busy time and people tend to use their mobiles even more than they would their desktop. So again, having that in mind, but also that will again support you during the course of the year because Google is now mobile first. So obviously, as Bex mentioned, we're website developers here at Wagada, and we build our websites for mobile first because actually that is what Google wants, because Google knows majority of people use their mobiles. So it's worth thinking about that when you're kind of doing landing pages on your website. Is it suitable for mobile? Is there anything that can be done? If you've got website developers or companies that you can reach out to optimize that in a way. And then it's also worth remembering that Christmas isn't fun for everyone. So for the B2C side of things, I think we've all seen opt-out emails coming through particular events during the year, particularly Mother's Day and Father's Day. And we can also do the same at Christmas. It might feel a little counterintuitive to be sending, an opt-out email for our Christmas messaging. But again, we've got to think that we're targeting the same target audiences throughout the course of the year. And actually, it's about building relationships with those target audiences. So if someone that, finds Christmas really difficult for a variety of reasons, actually sending them that email could actually go, oh, you know what, I feel that compassion for that company, and it sticks in their head. And actually, it could be something that they remember during the course of 2025, and they come back to you and purchase from you. On the B2B side of things, it could be that, companies, it could be the busiest time of year for them. So it's worth remembering that actually they're super busy and actually providing that bespoke support. Obviously, on the B2B side, it's all about that relationship building. You'll know kind of what your clients and target audiences are needing during that time, and really doubling down on that is really important. So that was a little kind of run through about, the best way to reach your target audience this time. Think about things that they value and what's going to resonate with them. But before we go on to some tactics and kind of how to reach them, it's worth just looking at these top tips. So have a think about what's worked well in previous years. What's worked well in previous Christmas campaigns? What worked well last year, the year before? And kind of taking that learnings, because things that worked well, we want to include this year. But if things that didn't work so well, then we want to think about actually whether we can improve that or exclude that. Also consider what has worked well during the course of this year. And again, use those findings and put that into your Christmas campaigns. As we've covered, really think about what your target audiences want during the festive season. What are their pain points? What's going to resonate with them? And then in terms of your customers, the ones that come time and time again, Christmas is actually the perfect time to reward those customers and actually ensure that you're retaining them into 2025. So moving on to having a look at content. So how we're going to resonate with those customers. We know that Christmas, there's so much going on. All businesses are trying to kind of push their Christmas campaigns. So we need to think a bit differently. We need to ensure that we've got interactive content, but also content that's going to help them and reach their pain points. So this could be doing a countdown to Christmas, running competitions, doing seasonal offers, or providing helpful tips. So as I go through, I'll be bringing this to life with some examples. So hopefully when this loads, there we go. These are some TikTok videos. So on the furthest left here, we have Canon. And what they're actually doing is showing their product and actually how people can make cute Christmas decorations. On the furthest right here, we have B&M Care, which is one of our clients. And what they've done is actually developing videos and showing the fun in the care homes at Christmas times, which is really lovely for families to see how they're enjoying Christmas. And then in the middle here, we have HubSpot, obviously very much a B2B brand. And what they've done is really fun. So HubSpot is a CRM system. It provides a sales pipeline. And what they've done, they flipped on its head and they've done the North Pole and their sales pipeline. So you've got the CEO of Santa. They're looking into their sales pipeline, which actually is Christmas magic. How's Christmas magic coming along this year? So another way to really kind of use content is through Christmas polls, for example. So this is an example here from the British Council, and how that they've done a poll about Christmas films, which is relevant to that organisation. We also ran last year a Christmas competition where people could have the opportunity to win our Christmas gin. So again, we're very much a B2B brand, and it's a great way to engage people. So that's something to think about as well. And then I briefly spoke about providing supportive content. So this is a great opportunity through blog content. So I've got a couple of our clients here. We've got the B&M Care Group again. And at Christmas time, it's actually thinking about what people are searching for into Google. So this is what we've done for clients, really looking into what your target audience is a search for into Google and providing information on that. So for B&M, there was a lot of searches for Christmas gifts for people living with dementia. So we developed a blog around that. And then on the flip side, for one of our legal clients, Laborums, people were also looking at tax on gifts at Christmas as well. People want to give financial gifts. It's really important to know the tax that could be implemented on that, the inheritance tax there. So that's quite interesting for that B2C side. Again, we've got a HubSpot here in the middle. And for B2B brands, we need to think about actually what is going to support your customers at the end of the day. So they developed a blog on how to create a holiday marketing campaign, a step-to-step guide. So really thinking about actually how you're going to, what content is going to be helpful for your customers is going to be really key here. Now, what we see in the course of 2024 is, the rise of AI, which has kind of been going along the last couple of years. And what we can do is actually use AI, such as ChatGPT, to help you create that content, to help you develop those ideas for blog content. Obviously here, this isn't necessarily down to what people search into Google. It's a case of actually just providing you with those initial ideas. But it's also worth noting that AI is absolutely brilliant at giving you that start, giving you those initial ideas. But what we're finding, we're keeping a really close eye on for our clients, is actually how Google is penalising sites with AI-generated content. So what we mean by this is companies that are literally putting into ChatGPT and literally copying it and pasting directly onto their website and not providing that human touch. So there's ways that we've been working on this and ensuring that the content that we're providing with clients and supporting clients are not fully AI generated. So we've been developing some custom ChatGPTs, an example here of our one. And essentially what you can do is make sure that you've got your tone of voice in there, your brand positioning, the pain points of your target audiences. So that really matches your brand. And then after that's come back, it's really tweaking it and adding that human touch. It's really important for Google so that it's not directly AI generated. I think we're all starting to see quite quickly when content is AI generated. It's there. It's a word that we tend to see, such as unlocking. Whenever I see the word unlock or unlocking, that tends to be, I'm like, that's AI generated. So we need to really, really double down on that. But AI is an absolutely brilliant tool to get you started and support your efficiencies. So another top tip, particularly for B2C brands, is enticing them back. So obviously at Christmas, we're all doing online shopping, trying to think about all the different gifts that we've got to get our family and friends. And people are putting things in their basket and perhaps, they're really busy on something else. And actually what we want to ensure that we do is set up abandoned cart emails. So having a little look into that and seeing whether you guys have got that set up for your businesses so that you can entice them back and increase that conversion rate and ultimately sales. Brilliant. So moving on to seasonal offers. So we all know that there tends to be brands that do seasonal offers year in, year out. I mean, Boots have done 3 for 2 for as long as I can remember. You've got places like Argos that start doing sales now ahead of the real kind of influx of Christmas shoppers. So have a look into that and see whether that would actually work for your brand. But also offers are a great way to reward loyalty. So this is an email that I received from Bloom & Wild last year. I don't know if it was last November, last December. And they were rewarding me for purchasing from them during the year. So they gave me a £7 off. And I actually don't think there was a minimum spend, but Bloom & Wild, so you can't really get anything for £7. So that obviously is quite clever there. But by providing offers for customers, you could do it for your top customers. Actually, providing some reward will actually really resonate with them, and they will remember that into 2025, and that will actually retain them into the following year. So that's a really clever way to do something during a Christmas period that will actually support you in 2025 as well. But what's really important is at Christmas, I think we all get really, thinking about offers, what we could do for promotions, is resisting bombarding customers with loads of promotions because it becomes too much, and we will then start to disengage them. To make sure that you get a happy medium, and also remember how many other businesses might be doing that. So have a think about what offers you'll be doing, when you'll be doing them, and the best way to reach your target audience in an engaging way. Now, this is my favourite part of Christmas, that period between Christmas and New Year, where I have absolutely no idea what day it is, and just really enjoying that time. However, what's really interesting here, people have time on their hands, and I'm definitely one of these people sitting on the sofa, purchasing things and getting ahead of 2025 or the year that's coming. So actually, this period is one of the busiest times for businesses. So make sure that you're scheduled those social media posts, any email marketing ahead of finishing for Christmas. And have a think about Boxing Day sales. So Boxing Day sales, as we know, has become a bit of a Christmas tradition. But it could also work quite well for particularly B2C brands. Consider offers that you could actually use to clear out old stock, which are actually going to support you into the new year, but also support you in your sales. So moving on to user experience. So as I mentioned earlier, thinking about devices being mobile first, etc. This all kind of relates to user experience. So what I mean by this in terms of Christmas is the main advantage of shopping online during Christmas is that it is quick and easy. So what we've got to make sure with our websites is, are they easy to use? Can people make an inquiry quite quickly? Can they make a purchase quite quickly? Or is it, quite a full-on process? For example, is an inquiry form too long that actually you've done all of this amazing marketing work, but actually we're losing your target audience when, like, we've done all the hard work, but we're losing them at that last hurdle because the form's too long or the process on your website isn't easy. And it's also really important to remember that 88% of online consumers are less likely to return to a site after a bad experience. So they may have found out about your company during the Christmas period, but if they've gone onto it and it's all just too much and it's not easy, it's not convenient way to kind of check out, purchase something, then you've actually lost potential customers into the new year. So what is really important, I always say, making sure your website it's optimized properly, it has a good user experience, is the most important, because the website is where you're going to lose them at last hurdle. So really have a look into streamlining your inquiry and purchase process. Have you got clear CTAs? Are there minimal steps? And are your checkout options quick, easy, and straightforward? And that's something that we work really heavily with clients on during the process of developing websites. It's really, really key that this part is easy and convenient for customers. So moving on to the next phase, which is really thinking about messaging and Christmas period, and actually what's going to really catch on people's heartstrings a little bit. So it's important to remember that Christmas is a time of giving and thinking of others. So I think there's a lot of us that when November hits, I think that's kind of roughly when the adverts start coming in. It's John Lewis. I'm always like, oh, John Lewis advert is about to, be released, and it trends on Twitter or X every year. People are always talking about it. And John Lewis do this in a really clever way. We all have our favourite John Lewis Christmas advert. Mine is here with Edgar. Showing them how much you care. This one really resonates with me. I always want people to feel included, and the fact that he's caused chaos during the course of the Christmas advert. He's a dragon, he catches things on fire, but then at the end they weren't able to put their Christmas pudding on fire, and he came in and it was all really helpful. And that's like a really lovely story. But ultimately, these Christmas adverts are not about necessarily reaching the B2C customers, increasing sales for particular products. They're actually elevating themselves as a brand. And that is what's really interesting and really clever. What they had even earlier than the Edgar one was they worked with Age UK and did an advert around loneliness at Christmas and showing people they're loved at Christmas. So this was the man on the moon. And I don't know if you remember, there was that telescope with that girl kind of seeing how far away and lonely this man was. And again, kind of working with a charity, focusing on these types of messaging is a great talking piece. We're all talking about John Lewis adverts when they come about, and that is all about John Lewis elevating their brand and using messaging that reflects their brand positioning. So that's something that's really clever and can work really well on a much smaller scale for B2C and B2B brands. Another brand that does this really well, so it uses Christmas to focusing on their mission. So Tony's, which is a chocolate brand, they have a mission to address poverty for cocoa farmers and make sure that they are paid fairly. And what they started doing, I don't know if it's roughly 5 years or slightly less than that, they do chocolate advent calendars every year. And I remember the first year that they did this and how they really created a lot of talk about this. So what they did, on one of the doors of the advent calendars, there was no chocolate. And people for a day were getting really annoyed. People were talking about, oh, didn't get my chocolate in my advent calendar this year. There's a massive issue with the processing of the advent calendar, and they've done something wrong. Then the next day, they opened their window and there was 2 chocolates in it with a message about how this is how cocoa farmers feel, that they're not paid fairly. How did you feel when you opened the window the day before you didn't get chocolate? And they actually put their customers in the shoes of the farmers, and it was a brilliant way to really address their mission. Their customers got on board with this, and actually people now look forward to and having that same situation and helping to spread that mission. So that's a really, really clever way to do something which actually hasn't cost anything, the actual that implementation there. So what we've kind of shown there, the last 2 slides, is how companies are actually showing what they support and what kind of resonates with their brand. So what we can actually do, companies across the board can actually support local, regional, national charities. So this picture here is the St Albans Postpot Toppers. So Wagada, our HQ is in St Albans, and what we do each year is sponsor one of these Postpot Toppers. And essentially this is a scheme where new charities are picked each year, and volunteers develop these topics, which some of them are like absolutely incredible. It's absolutely amazing. And it's a real talking piece within the area. And on these post-box topics, there's a label of the business that sponsored it, a bit of information about them, and the charity that this topic is supporting. And it's a real talking piece. People actually come from other areas outside of St Albans and actually do go round all these postbox. There's a map of it, so they go round and have a look at them all. And this is a great way that on a smaller level you can support local charities. But there's far more opportunities to support regional and national charities as well, and really having to think about how you can do that. So another way that you can support charity is, and this is kind of really reflecting more maybe the B2B brand, something we've been supporting our clients with, is instead of Christmas cards and gifts to clients, actually donating on their behalf. So wishing them really happy Christmas and saying, this year we have donated on your behalf to X, Y, and Z. And with Christmas being a time of giving, people wanting to actually donate to charity themselves, but they're so busy, the fact that a business has done that on their behalf makes them feel really good and actually makes them feel even closer to the business that they're working with. So that can work really, really well. It also leads us into a really nice part about sustainability here. So by not selling Christmas cards, it's actually highlighting any eco-friendly practices or sustainability initiatives that you're doing. And that's really key for businesses that really have to focus on their ESG. The fact that they're working with businesses that are really conscious of that is really important. But also during this time is also a great way to highlight any other sustainability, whether that was through the course of the year or during the festive season. Perfect. So have a little think about Black Friday and whether it's right for your business or not. So having a little think about the pros and cons of Black Friday and Cyber Monday or Cyber Week that it started becoming. So the pros are that it spreads that brand awareness. So that's really great. It can increase sales, but it could increase sales more in the short term. Some other cons for this is some customers then think actually every year you're going to do those offers and then, you know, come to expect them and then don't want to pay full price. So for B2C brands, there's a variety of pros and cons, and actually having to think about kind of that sales margin that you're going to get by doing offers. So yeah, there's a lot to kind of weigh up and down, and it really is individual for each business. So having to think about best practices at Black Friday. So if you're going to go ahead, or these kind of tips for going into thinking about Christmas 2025, is instead of providing discounts across everything, providing discounts on specific products and services so that you're not losing a huge percentage on some of your most valuable or, you know, top products. Think about customer experience. So Black Friday is a way to reach new customers. And it then provides you an opportunity to showcase your unique offerings and your superior service, your exceptional customer service, so that they remember you and come back to you in 2025. It also gives you a great opportunity to collect customer data during Black Friday, so that you can use that in future marketing and follow-up offers as well, particularly thinking about that time between Christmas and New Year. In terms of SEO though, there's a way that businesses can miss out on vital ranking opportunities, and we see this time and time again. So some companies each year will set up a brand new Black Friday page. And actually what you want to do is update your Black Friday page each year to maximize on that potential. So what I mean by this is one of our clients, CVP, that we support every year with the Black Friday campaign, is you have deals /Black Friday. Instead of it being Black Friday 2024 and then change to 2025, you want to keep just a Black Friday page and update it each year. So you're maximizing on that SEO potential. But in the lead up to Black Friday, you can have that landing page that I just showed you. You can have that, and normally on this, obviously, you don't have all the shopping yet, but it will give you kind of information on how to sign up to a mailing list. So what you want to do is start implementing that quite a few weeks before Black Friday, start kind of promoting that and getting people to that landing page and signing up for those deals, and almost create a bit of FOMO there, that if you know, people that are signed up have early entry for it. And that's something that Next tend to do throughout the year for their sales. They give select people that are signed up, early access, and it actually is a great way to pull people in, get their details, and also create that, oh gosh, I want to get on there at that time. I'm going to purchase that before everyone comes in to get that product that I want. So that's something that can work really, really well. So that takes us through the kind of bulk of our ideas at Christmas campaigns. And obviously I've gone through a variety there that are relevant across a variety of industries, but we've also tried to really double down on the B2C as well as the B2B there as well. So what's really important is when you run a Christmas campaign is ensuring that all your channels are aligned. So have a think about the marketing that you do during the course of the year. You want to make sure that at Christmas, the messaging that you want to put out there, you do in the same way. You want to ensure that your messaging is the same across all channels. And this essentially comes down to developing that relationship with target audience, developing that touch point. Because when people come in touch with you as a brand, they want to remember the last touch point they had. Because on average, it takes about 7 touch points for someone to come in contact with you to submit an inquiry or purchasing a product. So have a little look what this actually looks like through the customer journey. And this is a really great visual representation of the tactics through these different phases. So how we reach our target audiences. So whether that's through the SEO, through that blog content that we spoke about, those pain points that your customers are having during the festive season, and actually providing that helpful blog content. Doing events and sponsorship, that those charities that we were talking about. And then trying to move them onto the act phase, things on organic social, like what I showed in terms of that TikTok or those competitions. But also a really helpful part here, that if they find you through events and sponsorship, they then go to your website, then they read more blog content. Making sure that your reviews are up to date as well. And it's a great opportunity at Christmas to ask your clients or your customers to put in a review for you. And then once you people have kind of seen your website, gone on social media, you know, had lots of different touch points with you, that's when they might be thinking, you know what, I really want to inquire with that company, or I want to purchase that product. It's ensuring that you have that easy to use website. This is kind of what I've been mentioning. You've done all of that amazing work. You got them onto the website, they're ready to purchase or inquire, and you don't want your website to hold you back at that point. So making sure it's really easy to use. Provide any promotions if you'd like that. Doing email marketing. And then once you've converted a customer, this is where the engaged piece comes in. And this is where you can think about things during the course of 2025. Further email marketing, exclusive promotions, and that bespoke customer service. So to finish, some of our key takeaways from this is really reflect on your target audiences. Think about what they want, what they need, what they value during the festive season, and really double down on that. Leverage several channels to engage your audience, and really think about the posts that you're doing on social. Are they engaging? Are they interactive? Think about messages that go resonate with Christmas, or if you're going to partner with a charity and really focus in on that. Think about whether you're going to do offers, but I would say especially for your current customers, because they will come back again and again. And going back to enhancing your website experience, make sure you've optimized your website for mobile and desktop. So hopefully that has been really helpful. I've seen some questions trickling in as we've been going through, which is absolutely brilliant. I look forward to kind of going on to that Q&A. But before we go on to that, I just wanted to quickly mention we have a webinar next Tuesday for kind of media and broadcasting industry. So the IBC conference was last weekend, and Daniel, our commercial director, and our CEO, Cheryl, went to IBC, and we're running a webinar on Tuesday with the key takeaways from the conference. And on the panel, we have David from DPP and we have Danielle from Bubble Agency. And I've just had confirmation this morning that our fourth panelist or third panelist has been confirmed. And we've got a panelist from the BBC joining us, which is really, really exciting. So if you'd like to join that webinar, the QR code is there and I'll be sending you this deck today. So that is there ready for you. Brilliant. So moving on to our Q&A. Bex, has there been any questions?
Thank you, Sophie. That was amazing. I particularly love all the John Lewis stuff as well. And you could see how excited you were about it. It's just the way that Christmas had to make you feel, I think is really important.
Yeah. It's that emotive, isn't it? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's really important.
I have had a couple of people just message me privately throughout that, and I think you touched on this quite well, but I think we think about Christmas campaigns as B2C, and somebody's just asked, can Christmas campaigns be for anybody, like any type of business?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously we touched on kind of the different bits through that. But I think ultimately when it comes to Christmas campaigns, is thinking about actually what you want to achieve as well. So for some B2B brands, it could be actually thinking about engaging the clients or target audience into 2025. And it could be the Christmas campaigns at the start of that. So absolutely it can work for all businesses, but it's really thinking about, right, planning it, thinking about what you want to achieve and actually what are going to be the right tactics that are going to succeed in achieving kind of those objectives there.
I guess it's kind of back to what you were saying right at the beginning about knowing your audience and what they want, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that is the most important. We need to make sure that we know how to reach our target audience the best way, what they want. Christmas, we know, is a really hectic time, and as we went through at the beginning of this, B2C and B2B target audiences, they do slightly change at Christmas, and we need to adapt to that, and that's what's going to be really key.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. And then somebody else has asked how they measure it. How do they measure success of these campaigns?
Absolutely, and that's a brilliant question. And that's something that we need to ensure that we're continually measuring Christmas campaigns and any campaigns that you do during the course of the year, and making sure you can see actually what your campaign is driving. So you'll be able to see call clicks or inquiries that are coming through, and you can actually relate it back to the channel as well. So really double down on Google Analytics. We do projects as well. If you guys haven't got that set up properly, then we can offer to set that up for you and get that all sorted, because there's nothing more annoying than working really hard on a campaign but not having that reporting there and seeing actually, you know, what it delivered and how you can improve on it next time as well.
That's it, isn't it? It's how you improve on it next time. It's what you do in February to plan for next year.
Exactly. And that's actually what's really exciting, because, and that's what marketing comes down to, is really, taking those wins and actually thinking about how you can change to make it even better next time.
I've just got one more here, and again, I think you touched on this really well, but do we have to do discounts or deals?
That's a really, really good question. So as I kind of mentioned, there's, you know, it can differ, and it's down to actually what's going to work for your business. I would be hesitant about doing discount and offers across your whole range, like really pick into particular types of products or services that you want to provide an offer on. I would keep it quite exclusive as well. So you wouldn't want to let it run continuously for, you know, a long period of time. You want to kind of make it shorter and make it more exclusive, because FOMO can come out. If you do it for too long, that's where people start to expect it, and that they will hold back from purchasing from you until you do another offer. So it's something that every business is so different. So like more of a generic answer that might be think about what they're going to actually help you actually, you know, that you're sitting on a lot of stock. Is that the product that actually you want to really put an offer on? So yeah, it can be very different. But what I was actually going to touch on as well is think about whether providing offers and discounts are actually suitable for your
Yeah.
business. So for instance, the B&M Care, which are clients, a care group, I would never say to them to put an offer or discount on something, because it actually doesn't make sense for their business, and it actually affects their brand positioning. You don't want to make something, your service come across as less premium than other providers just because you're providing an offer or discount. So really think whether it actually is suitable for your business, because it's not suitable for all. And that's mainly on the B2B side, but some B2B like care home providers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you might not agree with me here, but I'd always say that giving extra value rather than discounts would be preferable.
Yeah. So yeah, no, 100%.
Else.
Yeah, think about added value, because actually that is the way that people are going to remember you. So whether that for B2C brands is thinking about gift wrapping services, for instance, that's something that, I don't know about you, but I'm one of those quickly wrapping up the presents on Christmas Eve. If that's all done, that's a massive added value, and people will remember that into the course of the year.
It's been lovely to see you all. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And we'll leave it there for today. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.